Pit Stop Podcast. I'm your host, E, aka our Money Bags, man. Hey, Jay, tell them what we doing the Pit Stop Podcast, baby.
Hey, man, that's where we shoot the shit, talk about everything except politics.
And I'm gonna introduce everybody. Got my man K Eagle up there, aka
What's
Kenny
up?
Brown.
What's up, man? No, you ain't gotta say my government name, but just say K Ego. K Ego, man. K Ego here. All right.
Had to blow up the spot for you, bro.
Yeah.
We got my man Jay, aka Rose McCray.
You know what it is. You know what it is.
Hey, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Daryl Chill Mitchell, aka Uncle Bobby's
Boom.
Yeah.
You know what it is.
Uncle Bobby Dice.
Oh man, today we got a very, very special guest, man. From the legendary group Naughty by Nature. Vinny, aka Vin Rock, man. What's up, man?
What's up, y'all? How you doing?
Hey, first of all, Vin, I got a quick question, real quick.
Cousin Vin, me, Uncle Vin, y'all.
Hey, look, I got a quick question. So look, you in the group, right? Who was the voice of reason in the group? Because I know it's hard because I work with these dudes right here, and I try to keep it together, man. I try, I really do. But I want to know who's the voice of the reason in the group.
Actually, I would consider that me because I knew Kay before, and Kay and I knew each other before I brought Tretch to the table. And then when I brought Tretch to the table, of course, as Kay being the main producer and Tretch the main MC, there was always some kind of creative tension there. So I always tended to be the voice of reason.
For some reason, I knew that. You seem like the most cool, calm person, though.
Yeah, you seem like it. You seem like it.
Oh,
so how was it growing up in East Orange, New Jersey, man? Tell us about your growing up.
Well, I was just explaining to y'all, East Orange, New Jersey is like the suburb of Newark, right? East Orange is only 4 square miles, about 70,000 residents here now, where Newark is the main city. That's the big city. Actually, it was going to be the state capital of New Jersey. I learned that about 5th grade, so I always carry that with me. But I grew up, I was born in 1970, so by then the white flight had occurred. So all the white people pulled out of Newark, pulled out of East Orange, all of Essex County, and they, flew. And then I was the youngest of 7, so 5 sisters and 1 brother. And man, I grew up during good times days, because on my block, all of the houses were 3-level homes, like 3-family houses. And I grew up right next to an auto body shop. So our house wasn't a regular 3-level house. I lived in it was damn near a shack. They said it was like a candy store back in the day. So I remember growing up, everybody on the block, up and down the block, would come and hang out at our little shack because, of course, we had all the kids down there, but my mom was a single parent and she would go to her boyfriend's house, which I've later found out was my dad. So with us, it was just a house full of kids raising ourselves, basically.
Wait, hold, bro. You just can't blow over that, dog. Wait, hold up, man. So you find out later on this is your dad.
Yeah. You know why? Because my brother, my brother has like a 10-year gap, 8 to 10-year gap with me. And years later, he explained to me, he was like, Vin, we live next to the auto body shop. And Nash Brown was the father to most of the kids, My oldest sister, Denise, she's like half white. So she grew up in Philly, but she lived with us. Then my brother and 3 of my other sisters, right? They were by Nash Brown. So eventually Nash got kicked out the house because he was an alcoholic. And my brother said all he remembered was in our backyard, my mom would be talking to this guy, John Cook, over the gate. You know what I mean? And they would always talk. And he was an auto body mechanic, right next door. So next thing you know, my sister Sharon came. My mom was pregnant. Sharon came. Then next thing he remember, I came. So it was 2 more added to the brood. You know what I mean?
Out of nowhere.
Yeah. And, growing up, my brother, he was always fond of his dad, Nash Brown, but he always hated John Cook, the auto body guy. And later I found out he was like, yeah, basically that's your dad. But it was never brought up or mentioned to me. you know.
Wow, dog.
That's that old school stuff. You know, they just keep it moving, man. They ain't complaining, man.
You want to put that in your biopic, man?
I know, right?
That's a story. That's a whole.
That's a real story.
Wow,
that's the definition of Papa was a Rolling Stone.
I know it was, man. And the crazy thing is, you know, my mom died when I was young, at 17 years old. So she missed all of my success, you know. She saw when we were the new style, chill, you know, the high top fade era, but
no doubt.
She missed everything Naughty by Nature. But she passed in 88 and Naughty happened like 91. You know what I mean? Right. So she missed all of that. And then my dad, we never really got to talk about that stuff. And he just passed away like last year. You know, but we never discussed this. But when I came out and blew up in 91, all of a sudden, all these random people around the way is like, your dad, you know. But somebody was claiming me, but they never told me, you know, what time it was.
That's crazy.
With those rumors, I was like, but for whatever reason, we never really spoke about it.
Bro. Look, make sure you keep this recording because this is a book, bro.
Yeah, no book.
This is a book. I didn't know he was gonna go here, bro. This is crazy.
Yeah, that was a good question. Let me ask you this, Vin. How did you and Chill meet? How did y'all meet? First time meeting?
Oh man, I remember we were big fans of the industry, you know, in the late 80s, early 90s. Everybody was popping, everybody had their own style, and then Groovy Chill, they were hot as a motherfucker back in the day, you know what I mean? So us, you know, and that's when like Kwame and them and the Idol Makers and all of the flyness, all of the fresh fly stuff, just before Andre Harrell in the Uptown era, right in there, where hip hop was fly, hip hop was fun. And I remember just through all of those industry events, come on, these guys were our idols. So for us to meet Groovy Chill and work with them, be at industry events with them, it was always cool, and we always had great relations with each other.
Yo, let me tell you, my first time,
a great rapport with it.
My first time ever seeing y'all perform was at a club in Nassau County. It was like in Roosevelt or Hempstead, and I think it might have been a club that was owned by Eddie Murphy's uncle at the time.
Oh yeah, that was Uncle Ray's out there.
Remember that the first time I seen y'all. Woo, yo, let me tell you, I've never seen an effect on a crowd like that. The last time I seen an effect on a crowd like that is when I went to see G Unit. Wow, G Unit performed in Long Island in a club in Huntington. In Huntington, and it was like the Huntington Townhouse.
Wow!
And I've never seen nothing like that since then. Like that kind of effect where a group about group wise when they came out, dog. Naughty hit that, bro. It was mesmerizing because at the time we was already done pop, but I ain't see it like that.
But yeah, we came up. That's how we came up because for us in Jersey, we've always been the stepchild of New York City, like the five boroughs. So, you know, even if you out on Long Island, they didn't give, Long Island no respect if you weren't from the five boroughs. So Jersey, oh my God, if you weren't from New York and those five boroughs, you got no respect out there. So we might as well have been from Alabama back in those days, especially the new style days. So we kind of always had that chip on our shoulder about not being accepted, or you can't be down if you're not from New York. But in Jersey coming up, we always had a lot of practice. So from doing local talent shows to being the new style, which we were signed to Sugar Hill Records, but that record didn't blow at all. So by the time we got with Flavor Unit and had to run through Mark the 45 King and Apache and Lakim, that whole Flavor Unit, we had to prove ourselves to them and then to the people. So by the time we switched from New Style to Naughty by Nature, we were seasoned vets. So then when OPP blew, Oh man, it was like a turnkey operation then. So we let out all of that aggression on everybody during the shows. You know what I mean?
Yo,
and that's why we were rocking like that.
Yo, but the crazy part is to watch LeBron James. I thought about it the other night. Allen Iverson was talking about how he stepped over what's my man name?
Ty Lue.
And he said sometimes you do things you just don't know what you're doing. So then he showed LeBron James, and when LeBron James hit that shot, and he do his hands like this.
Oh yeah.
Yo, y'all know who started that, right?
Damn, that was AI.
No.
Oh, you're talking about like the East Coast thing, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's naughty by
Oh, yeah, right? Yeah. I used to do it. Yeah.
That was they hold that was if you wasn't dancing like that, you wasn't dancing.
Yeah, and I remember Busta Rhymes and them. They turned it into the East Coast stomp. So I think a couple other people shared it, but definitely that was the move back in the day.
That was the naughty when Tretch did that. Boy, that was it. That was it. You wasn't doing that. You wasn't dancing.
They was doing that on the Uptown Anthem video, right?
Yeah, Uptown Anthem. Yeah,
that's my favorite song, by the way, man. That's all, man. That's right, cold, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was just in Harlem. It's crazy because see, Chill, I know you are around my age, but I did a podcast up in Harlem, Esso and them yesterday.
Esso. Shout out to them.
Yeah. I did it, and I'm talking to them, and I'm trying to do certain reference points, and I'm like, shit, you guys are fucking young, man. So I had to steer the conversation, a little different, man. But
now,
yeah, man, I was telling them about how, we filmed the video Uptown Anthem up there and then filming the Juice movie and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Simple as that. I'm thinking like, damn, these guys were old enough to understand what I'm talking about. But I could tell as I'm talking about it, the guys are like, it's going over their heads. And I'm like, look, you guys are up here in Harlem, you don't realize, man, Harlem was the shit back in the days. And they filmed Juice up here. We had Uptown Anthem and Tupac and all of us up there. And they like, yeah.
I was just telling.
I was in the video.
I was just telling Moneybags about the time when the part where Omar Epps was up top doing the DJ battle, and he did the Uptown Anthem beat on there. Like,
It was crazy. And it was crazy because I just realized, like, we knew Tretch was in. Like, I knew Tretch was in Juice, but I never really paid attention to who he was because I'm so used to seeing Tretch like with the band on and all that. And then as you get older, he had the bald head. But looking at it, I was like, oh, he the one that he tackled Tupac.
Right.
You looking for the bald head Tretch. You ain't looking for the Tretch with dreads.
I'm just like, Tretch was in there. I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh shit, he tackled Tupac.
Well, and the thing about that movie, period, is that Tretch and Pac, they met on the road because we had signed a flavor unit. So Queen Latifah took Tretch on the road to be a roadie, and she brought him out to freestyle on his set because she couldn't afford to bring all three of us out on the road. Same for Digital Underground. They brought Pac out, and he was freestyling, but at the end of the day, they were both roadies. So they met out there, but when they got home, they met out on tour. When they got home, Pac booked the leading role for Juice. And Queen Latifah, she was casted as a role in Juice, but they had Tretch go read, but Tupac got the role, So Tretch didn't have a real role, but since Latifah was still in the movie, she was like, just come and hang out and you'll be an extra somewhere. So Tretch's whole existence was in there, was like a bum rush kind of thing, like double Dutch. Let me wait until I could get in, and I jumped in and got in the scene, That's why Tretch said he was the only black guy in a Latin fucking gang.
A Latin gang. Yeah.
So you brought up Queen Latifah. Like one of the questions I wanted to know, like, because every time I hear they talk about 90 by Nature, they talk about Queen Latifah as well. And that's how I draw the relation. Like, how did that relationship start, and where does it stand to this day?
Right. So back in the day, again, we were from Jersey, and we were lucky because we had the flavor unit around. Mark the 45 King in the flavor unit. So Mark has original roots in the Bronx. He moved out to Jersey, but he had a rapport with Cool DJ Red Alert. So Mark was always doing beats, feeding his beats to Cool DJ Red Alert. Red would use them on, you know, different radio breaks and stuff. But then we had the Flavor Unit MCs. So Lakim, Shabazz, Lati, Chill Rob G, all of these guys were produced by Mark the 45 King. So from Jersey, it was like, yo, they are the stars because they're able to penetrate the New York market, you know? And then Mark the 45 King was down with Red Alert, which by default had an affiliation with the native tongues. So that's, you know, Q-Tip and Dayla and all of them. So that was that cheat code. And even when Latifah came in the game, she came in under native tongues. So that's why to this day, and her and Moni Love, they did Ladies First, and all of that was that affiliation. So for us, we were like, bet. We have someone who's in, but they were right there in Irvington. So over here in Jersey, it's Newark, East Orange, Irvington. We're all right here, neighboring cities. So we always pursued to be down with Flavor Unit, especially after we finished our deal with Sugar Hill Records, as that never went anywhere as New Style. So we courted them. We always knew Latifah was around the way, and she went to East Orange High School with us. So we're the same age. She went to East Orange High School, but eventually transferred to Irvington High School because her mom taught there. She was an art teacher. Rest in peace, Miss Rita Owens. So lo and behold, we got with Latifah, Mark the 45 King. And then as we were transitioning out of New Style, we invited them to a college, Uppsala College, the gymnasium. So we gave them our demo and was like, yo, we're hot around the way because we were putting in work. We invited them to the college gymnasium. We packed out the gymnasium, rocked out, and then that's when we signed to Flavor Unit Management. And just so happens that Shakim, who's Latifah partner and manager back then, he was just starting Flavor Unit Management. So, you know, outside of Mark the 45 King producing everybody, this was when they were taking the business to another level and started managing artists. So Naughty by Nature, we lucked up by being the first artist under Flavor Unit Management. So lo and behold, that's how we got down. And to this day, we're still on point with them. Shakim just called me today. We're working on some projects. And even this summer, we popped out on Latifah's set for Rock the Bells, and that was the first time out since the pandemic. So we came in there, touched them up real quick, but unfortunately, we haven't been able to keep it moving after that.
Okay. You know, the whole time I thought y'all was on Tommy Boy Records, but y'all was signed to Warner.
No, we were on Tommy Boy Records, but we were signed to Warner. We got a major record deal. Our deal structure, and Chill, you know this. So Tommy Boy was distributed by Warner Brothers Records. And it happened like this because Mark the 45 King, of course, he was a producer. He had a relationship with Benny Medina. And Benny Medina was not only managing Will Smith, he was a A&R exec at Warner Brothers. So Mark was working on a deal. But when we came along, Shakim and them got with Benny Medina. We ended up signing a Warner Brothers contract, but since Tommy Boy knew the streets and they were breaking all the artists on the streets, we got a major label point deal and structure, and then the project got handed down to Tommy Boy, and they knew the streets. So we had the best of both worlds, and you know, when we blew it, it blew.
Boy. That's what's up. So Vin, how did you when did you fall in love with like rap music, and was it your first love?
Yeah, definitely. Because again, being the youngest of 7, 5 sisters, 1 brother in that house, my brother used to be a drummer. So he would always play the record player, and he would try to drum to Slave and Confunction and all of this stuff. Of course, back then, what people don't realize, when they recorded music, they really recorded it live in studio. So it's not like this program stuff where, you know, it's predictable and you could be right on beat. So a lot of those guys are improvising on those records, and my brother is trying to catch it right on beat, like the improvisation. It would never work out. So I always remember my brother get mad he couldn't hit a riff. He would tear up his whole fucking drum set, you know, like, I can't get this, blah, blah, blah. So I grew up with that, but I remember Malcolm McLaren, Buffalo Gals. I remember Gladys Knight and the Pips saved the overtime for me.
Well, I said, hold it right there. He asked me what was the song that I used to like to break dance to. Right. I said, yo, my joint was Save the Overtime for me because that beat was so crazy. I said that just the other day, right?
Yeah. You said that.
Because that was our hip hop music. We had Evelyn Champagne King. Shane, that was the joint. And because the music wasn't invented at the time. So we were breaking to whatever was James Brown or whatever, but that was my joint.
Wow. Well, and then in that video though, and that's when hip hop was starting to,
because somebody was breaking it.
Because I think that was the New York City Breakers or something in that video. So it was that video I saw, and I saw the kid do the backspin. I was like, yo, that joint is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I came in the game being inspired by breakdancing and then by the beatbox, because I had a guy, Loke, he was lived up the street from me. He always had mixtapes. So I remember hearing Dougie Fresh and sound like he had rocks in his mouth. Then Buffy from the Fat Boys, hearing the bass he had in his beatbox. I'm like, yo, this is hard. And yeah, man, I remember being 11, 12, 13 years old. That was 81, 82, 83. I just fell in love with it, man. And I was it ever since.
It's funny you said it because Chill said when he fell in love with rap, it was before the rap, before we started rapping. The hip hop, it was the beatbox and the breakdance.
The breakdance.
Before they put words to mic. That's
what I'm saying. People are missing the essence of music was the last thing put in hip hop. That was the last thing put in hip hop music. It was everything else, graffiti, break that dancing, just the dress code, all of that was before, I told him, I said, yo, I could look across the room through a crowd of 1 million and I could see a B-boy. And I know that I said, that's a B-boy right there.
Right.
You know exactly. Because that's what it was all about. Then the music came. And then because the DJs was what it was, the rappers was second.
Right.
You was the bag to get on the microphone and be like, yo, can I get on the mic? And what? Get out of here, bro. Because the DJ was the
I think that was one of the biggest criticisms of last year's 50th anniversary of hip hop celebration. They was like, it was all about just the rappers or the rap records. It wasn't about the full culture, and you didn't get a chance to, just feel all of the elements of hip hop,
Right, but and I know, bro. Because we've been around television a long time and movies. There's no way we're gonna be able to fit all that in 1 hour.
Right. True. No. However, that's right. During those performances, you definitely have time to represent all of the elements. So while the performance is going on, guys could be tagging up. You got the DJ and you toss and let him do a quick routine. You know what I mean? Breakdancing and all of that stuff is there. It's time for it. I think just, it's just virtually impossible to satisfy everybody. You know what I mean?
My thing was
like with the Hip Hop Museum going up in the Bronx, man. They're trying to pull everybody's stories, and everyone has a different interpretation of the history of hip hop. So by the time they go up with that museum, there's going to be OGs in there. Man, it wasn't like that. And that wasn't.
Because I mean, what me and you just talked about was before 50 years. Way before 50 years with the hip hop. You know what I mean? Right. So, but I mean, I'm just happy to be a part of that, that number where we're in there, bro. 35, 40 years deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so we're in there. You know what I mean?
Y'all part of history, man. That shit is dope.
Yeah, y'all really are pioneers. Like y'all really are the pioneers.
Yo, but the good thing about I'm happy that I got into film and television when I did, and it allowed me to travel to different states and still be a part. Because I can go. That's why I said I ran into Vietnam. I still got boxer shorts that me in Charleston, South Carolina. Them shorts got to be over 25 years old.
Shout out to Charleston.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? They came to Charleston. And my cousin, that's one, the KO up top. He from Charleston, South Carolina. I came to Charleston because I was down there. They was coming. I went to Savannah to hang out with Heavy D and them. Because I was doing movies. I was working in Charleston when they came through. So I was like, boom. Vinny, and every time I see Vin got something for me. Yo, chill. Here go your shorts. Oh. I'm like, boy, I had my naughty shorts. Then I was like, then the thing is, I'm glad that I preserved these joints. You know what I mean? He gave me this sweatshirt. I didn't steal this sweatshirt. Vin gave me this sweatshirt at a concert out here in Atlanta. And that was like when I got out of the hospital. So that was like 21 years ago.
Wow.
That's what I need to know.
And look how preserved this sweatshirt is, bro.
Well preserved.
I need to know where we can get some merch, man. Because I saw you on towards the end of last year. I saw you on Sway, and Sway had on this red. Man, I'm like, man. I say, man, I gotta ask you, man. Like, where can we get the merch, man?
Yes, sir. It's on naughtybynature.com. We got naughtybynature.com. Then when you click on the shop, it'll take you to naughtybynaturestore.com. Okay. And right now it's under a license. Usually I'm hands-on with this stuff and I produce all the goods. And then we did a licensing deal and we gave a larger company a chance to, you know, as they said, they would scale the business, but instead of scaling it up, I'm not the happiest with them because they don't produce the goods that we do. So it's going to revert back home so I can get busy and put out the stuff that I do. And then we have a new project, Illtown Sluggers. I'm running that stuff. So we got fly gear for that as well.
Okay. So who created that logo though?
What, the Naughty by Nature logo?
Yeah.
A guy named Mark Weinberg. He was the art director for Tommy Boy Records. So he designed classic like De La Soul is Dead and the Humpty Dance artwork and all of that stuff. So he would put all of the album covers together. So in Naughty by Nature, and I was just explaining this the other day, if you look in the OPP video on the DJ booth, there's a sign that says Naughty by Nature, but the font is so generic and whack. I'm like, oh shit. We didn't even have the Naughty by Nature logo as it stands right now in the OPP video. Wow. So when we shot that video, Monica and Mark Weinberg were working on the official logo. So they knew by just the name Naughty by Nature, it should have a childlike feel. So as Mark tells it, he was out at dinner after meeting with Monica and just jotting down different ideas. So he took an orange crayon, wrote it on a napkin, and came with the lettering Naughty by Nature, but it didn't have the bat. And then once he showed Monica, she was like, yo, that's dope, but it needs something else, another icon or whatever, you know, a symbol. So eventually he came up with a bat. And how there's a YouTube video, I interviewed him on how the logo was created. So it's Naughty by Nature, Mark Weinberg. So once he had that dinner napkin, he made the bat on a big sheet of paper. And then he shrunk it down and placed it under the words Naughty by Nature. And that's how we ended up with the full logo.
Cause that's an iconic logo, man. I put that logo up there with Wu-Tang, like the Public Enemy joint, all that. Bro. And they don't do that no more. Like you can't. They don't do that no more.
Yeah, it's a lot, and I see that too. I think it's a case of watering down and whitewashing, our culture, because if you remember back in the day, especially in the 90s, even coming out of, I was always inspired by Run DMC's merchandise, NWA, Public Enemy. Then it got down to Spike Lee, and he had Spike's joint. You remember Chill back in the day, he had all the 40 acres and the mule stuff. So next thing you know, you saw this emergence of artist-driven clothing lines, And when we opened our Naughty Gear store back in 94, I remember getting a call from Diddy with Shakim on the three-way. He's like, yo, how are you doing this? I want to do bad boy clothing, but someone took the name, so I got to come with something else. And, we spoke, and then he came with Sean John. I remember when we had our store, Fat Joe and them came through. Wu-Tang guys came through, and Divine and them, we chopped it up. They came to see our store. Next thing you know, they opened up the Woo-Wear store in Staten Island. You know what I mean? FUBU came to our store. Damon John and the guys came to our store, and the first FUBU t-shirt with the FB on it, they dropped that off in our retail store on consignment. That's how early we were in the game with FUBU. You know what I mean? But I feel that at a certain point, there was so many clothing lines out there. You had Sean John and Woo Wear and all of this stuff that everybody and their grandmother had a clothing line. And then, of course, the Garmentos who produce for all of these big lines like a Tommy Hilfiger or whatever, they were losing a lot of market share. And then the artists were coming in there treating these clothing lines like a record label. Give me an advance. And then when it's time to go to the magic show where you sell to all the retailers, you got to pay me to show up. You got to pay me to support your own thing when they had an advance and they're not honoring, you know, their commitment. But I think at a certain point in the game, I feel it was a conspiracy at the retail level and the manufacturing level. We're not doing any more of those lines, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, there was a resurgence back in the Tommy Hilfigers, the Polo, the Calvin Klein, and then now in Macy's, they have all the real estate again. And if you fast forward what's going on now, and it speaks to what you're talking about, you don't see these artists with their own logos, their own brand identity. It looks like one big corporate pimp game, you know, because all of these labels now have strategic partnerships with these big fashion houses or liquor brands. And what they're doing is bet, well, if you're partnering with me and now because of streaming, I'm losing X amount of income because there's no more cassettes, CDs, and vinyl sales like that. Hey, you subsidize it, and now I could put my artists in all of your clothes and put them on your runways. And now you look, everybody's all dripped out with super expensive designer clothes. You can't find an artist today, just like you have a Naughty by Nature or a Wu-Tang or a Public Enemy. They don't have their own logo or brand identity, nor do they have their own, you know, apparel and merchandise that they really take serious. And I do see, I don't want to call out a couple of names,
about that, bro.
But I do see like there are big artists who have a robust, you know, apparel and merchandise offering. But instead of them rocking their stuff, they go right back to Chanel and Balenciaga and this, that, and the other. And it's like, you know, but chill, if you think about it, remember back in the day, all of you guys, there was so many artist-driven clothing lines when there was I mean, there was so many ads with so many different clothing lines. Then all of a sudden that rug disappeared, and now everybody's rocking big time designer again.
Yo, and then it's crazy because you just woke me up to that because it's like you're right.
Yeah, it's collabs now. It's all collabs. There's a lot of collabs. Like the Travis Scott collab with Nike and stuff like that. It's collabs.
Yeah, but been smart. And I think Jack Harlow, he went New Balance. But I remember even as late as like the 2000s, I remember when like, you know, Rockaway, but then G Unit came out with their clothing line. Then you had Jeezy had 87, I think, I can't remember his thing. And then T.I. had a cool, and then Nelly, I think he had
apple bottoms. Apple
bottom.
Yeah.
I remember all this stuff.
Back in the day, it was a culture though, like Carl Canal, like you know what I'm saying?
But I'm just saying, like it's just like he's saying, like now everybody's just teaming up with the bigger groups, the Nikes, the Timberland, like you know what I'm saying, like it's just like you said, the Chanels, the Gucci, you know what I'm saying, everything like that. Instead of
so to me it's like yo, you're not going to pimp me out. If you're the big fashion house, then we're not just going to collab and say, oh, it's your brand and mine. It's almost like how Kanye did Yeezy. Look, this is Yeezy. It's not going to be branded Adidas. I'm going to partner with you, and then it's my line. And now, you know, I have equity in this, and now this is an asset that I could pass down to my family, you know? You see how they'll still do you. Like, even Nike back in the day when he did that first Yeezy with Nike, they're telling him, oh, I'll pay you, and then I'll pay you for the first run. And then after that, I have the right to reproduce this and sell as much as I want, and I'm not going to pay you a royalty.
That's crazy.
How disrespectful was that? You know what I'm saying? How disrespectful was that? And that's why you could tell that there's certain level of conspiracy to keep these guys in check, because that financial freedom, man, it not only will it educate you and wake you up, but it'll help you finance your own war. And like Kanye was saying, you know what? I'm going out here to Wyoming. I'm buying some land. I'm building my own factories. And, you know, from the dirt to the end retailer or the end consumer, we're in control of this whole machine. And that's what people don't like. And I think just like what Diddy just went through with Diageo, you know what I mean? That's why they say, yo, keep your mouth quiet, shut up, don't say anything. Because once you let the cat out the bag and you're waking people up and they learn the game, now we're in trouble. Because when you look at those big spirits companies like Diageo, it's one company that has so many brands under them.
Under the umbrella.
Bar, they control all of that real estate back there. So now it's like, yo, I'll give you a little money and keep drinking Hennessy. But now when you get into, oh, I'm doing my own liquor brands and my own liquor lines, it's like, for one, they got to cut in on the profits. For two, it's like, damn, they're learning the game. And if they get in this game, now we have head-to-head competition. It's the name of the game. So I think this whole Diddy situation is a learning lesson. And then everyone's realizing, well, he was just hired to be a promo guy, and then it wasn't really his or whatever, and they kicked him out, you know? But now we understand the game. Now we can approach the game from a different level. And it's like, yo, it's all in the back end of the ownership. And like Diddy was saying, man, look, I got a problem because my tequila brand, you know, y'all are using all of the good agave for Casamigos. What about my brand? And then it's like, bet. All the agave you're using for them, and then it's being mass produced and put out there. But now when I get my little agave to put out my tequila, you're going to coin it as it's an urban brand, and then you're only going to put it in urban areas and urban spots. But when the whole world is rocking the hip hop culture, you could be at the Ritz-Carlton all the way down to your liquor store. Them white people are going to rock with Ciroc or De Leon tequila, you know? Yeah. It's just that you're trying to redline us in the liquor and spirits game, redline us in the luxury goods game. And it's like, no, hip hop is 50 years old. Everyone in power right now that's 60 years old down grew up on hip hop. So you can't say that it doesn't penetrate worldwide to every social economic class.
Give it to him, Vin Rock, give it to him, dog.
Yeah, man.
That's dope.
Vin was always the smart one out of hip hop. You know, they think KRS-One is the one. He had KRS-One. Vin Rock always has some.
Could you imagine like how much of an influence hip hop has on the world? Could you imagine like we put all our egos aside, like all the people that run the labels? I'm talking from within our culture, like the Diddy's, the 50s, the Rev Run, Russell Simmons. Like they all come together, put their head together, the Jay Princes, and collectively be innovative on a business strategy, man. Like, I mean, we'll take over the world, man. Like, because hip hop influences the world all over. People in Japan, they don't speak English at all, but know all the words to a 50 Cent song or a Jay-Z song or something like that. So, like, if you could just think of it like that and think unity, man, like we can create so many jobs for our community. We can take care of everybody across the country in our community.
Well, and I think that's the thing right now. You know, you got to look at where we are. It's one big global plantation, right? So when we talk about the television and film industry, they control all of the distribution, you know, or they control basically the studios and the distribution. So just like the record labels, there's only 3 majors and they're signing everyone under those big umbrellas. But now you got all of the guys beefing with each other. And Lucien Grange, the head of Universal, he's got Def Jam, he's got Interscope, he's got all of the hot sub-labels. All of these guys are shooting and killing each other. And they're like, let it happen because that catalog is going to skyrocket. And it's all in one purse anyway. You know what I mean? So what's the incentive to stop it? They're like, let them rock out. So we can't fall for that banana in the tailpipe and be like, yo, I'm the man, all the man, because it's only one pimp and spin master right there. We're all serving that one God, but we're selling each other out instead of coming together and say, how can we attain that? How can we be the head of this stuff and control our own distribution? So, you know, and I just think that this industry is somewhat like the streets, or a lot like the streets, because if you're on the streets and you getting money and the cops want to come and break up what you're doing, for one, they put the bait out there, the drugs and the guns in the community, set the perfect stew for you to do what you do. Watch you run up a bag. Now all of a sudden, here's a guy from across town they caught up, and now he's going to be a snitch for them. They send him in to snitch and disrupt the whole thing that's going on out here. And I think it's the same thing in this game. I mean, you know, everyone said that there was a conversation about Master P, J Prince, Diddy, Suge Knight, and them getting together, talking about their own distribution. But all of a sudden, there's always a disruptor out there to keep these guys at each other's throat, man. And I think there's a lot of intent with it. And, you know, everybody's like, no, a conspiracy theorist. How many times that back in the day we said that it was a conspiracy and they were like, no. And then years later, you found out they really did infiltrate and fucking conspire to keep shit all fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I forgot the name of that movie.
We gotta stop that. We gotta stop that. Like even with Nicki Minaj and you know, Meg Thee Stallion right now, it's like, we can't have healthy competition without having real life, I'm at your throat, and if our crews run into each other, it's gunplay out there. It's like, we can't grow like that, man. We got to knock that shit off, you know?
Yeah. Yo, what happened to the fun days when we would go backstage, we laugh and joke, but then we're going to watch Naughty perform, we're going to watch Kumo D perform, we're going to watch, because we're going to get on stage, you got to try to outdo the last one.
Absolutely.
Right. See, but the difference back then, Chill, is that everyone had to have their own unique style. You couldn't do the same thing, or you couldn't rap like nobody. You couldn't dress like nobody. Your music.
You couldn't wear my hat, Ben Rock. You couldn't wear my hat.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, but right now, cats are beefing, and I'm better than you. Well, what? It's the same beat. That beat sound like reggae. Same old hip hop beat, the trap beat, and then you rhyme in the same cadence, the same pattern. You're talking about the same thing. So what? We're arguing about looking in the mirror and mirroring each other. There's no uniqueness with that, you know?
Hey, I knew something that was unique when I first saw Treach and I saw that machete. Like, why is that nigga got that machete? He scared the shit out of me as a kid, bro.
Because they had to come out of Jersey with an edge.
Yeah,
they came. It was just like you ain't know what to make of them.
I didn't know what was going on. I just saw the machete, the dude. I was like, man, I don't know about this guy right here.
When I first saw Redman, I said, okay, that's a serious dude. I just see, but now he's totally different now, laid back, funny, and everything. But back then, he was very intimidating.
Yeah. Hey, with Grimy coming out the bricks, man. Redman does skydiving out here. I'm not sure if y'all seen on his Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Brother, he's like a professional skydiver now, yo.
I like watching Redman.
Tandem jumps is when somebody is behind you.
No, he's doing it himself.
By himself.
Yeah.
I've been watching Redman lately. He jacking the beats again, and he is going crazy over those beats.
Yeah.
He is
Redman is one of the most underrated solo artists ever.
Crazy though. Vin, let me ask you a question. Naughty by Nature. How did y'all come up with like when you said it's like a dope line, like a dope group, like you like, oh, them battles crazy, or you something like when you get the edge, you know what I'm saying? You like Naughty by Nature, oh yeah, them battles crazy. Like something, you know what I'm saying? Them niggas crazy. So how did y'all come up with that name? Like, how did that name, like who was sitting there? Y'all was like, hell yeah, that's it.
So again, you know, coming out of high school, we were called the New Style, and we signed to Sugar Hill Records. So that project didn't work out. Thank God it didn't work out. And then once we got with Flavor Unit, you know, Flavor Unit assessed the previous situation. Like we were signed to Sugar Hill, we were looking to leave them and break that situation. They were like, first thing you got to do is change your name. Oh man, change our name. We were married to the New Style. We probably came up with the New Style in '87. We got with Flavor Unit around '89, '90. So it was like 2-3 solid years we were living with the New Style. We like, damn.
Wow,
so we had to change it. And
like a Barry Gordy moment on the Temptations when he told the Temptations go change your name. They was like opening the
I know it happens with a lot of artists, but once we had to change
our name,
we just started brainstorming, and then Treach went into his rhyme book and flipped through. He was like, Naughty by Nature. And actually, Naughty by Nature was the title of a New Style song. So a song that we had as the New Style. Wow. The song was, and we cannot find that song till this day. Oh man, that song would be crazy, yo. So yeah, we settled on that, you know, us as a group internally. And then at the time, Shakim, it was Shakim, it was Chris Lighty from Violator.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace to Chris Lighty.
Wow, Chris Lighty.
And they thought the name was a little too long. They're like, Naughty by Nature, that's too long. And then they used to come and check us on the block, you know, as we were still on the block before we got signed. Tretch is like, look at everybody out here on the block, you know, kids playing, everybody all over, like everybody's Naughty by Nature. So we were like, yep, that's the name we want.
That's so crazy.
Oh, that's hip hop. That's it. That's hip hop is a mirror of and reflection of our communities. That's hip hop.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, man. It grows out like a flower from in the concrete, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
blossoms, dog. And it's like
basically America's worst nightmare, man.
Bro, tell me about it. I said that about BET all the time. BET was the worst invention white folks ever seen. And kids started just gravitating. It went in their house.
How many millionaires it made? How many generational wealth that he created for us? You know what I mean?
How many lives it changed? How many lives it changed?
Well, and I say that too. I was on a panel and I'm like, listen, man, you know, I was on a Black and Jewish Coalition panel with Steve Lobel. They invited me to sit in. And I told guys, I'm like, look, man, y'all got to realize hip hop is God's gift to humanity, because all of what's going on right now, look at global relations, global race relations, minus hip hop music and culture. Imagine in the last 50 years what, you know, the world race relations would look like. So we really got to look at this culture and be like, wow, where politics failed and every other thing failed, or you could be a Nazi, you could be an extremist, all of that fails against hip hop when it comes to unifying people globally. And
everybody was singing OPP, bro.
Yeah,
everybody was singing OPP.
We was too.
Yeah, because you got to think about that. It moved really fast though.
Yes, OPP. Yeah, like we got fast, yo.
I remember that.
I'm gonna tell you this though. How did y'all come up with OPP? Like, where did that come from? And like using the Jackson 5 sample, beat ABC. Like, how did y'all where did that creativity come from?
Right.
You got. Oh, go ahead. Okay.
Go ahead.
I was saying, James, did you want to?
Yeah, because you know what's crazy too? Yeah, because we got a little snippet of the video. Now, we were young, of course, when OPP came out, but I understood what OPP meant because it was two things in the video, and I hope Kitty got it. It's two things. When the dude took his ring off and your smile. And the way you smile.
Here we go.
Let's check the video.
Let's check it out, man. Let's take a ride back in history.
Yeah,
he called me out. Hey, he called me out.
He called you out there, dog. I died.
You saw the smile.
I died. I was like,
So it was just like I seen him drop the ring. I was like, okay.
Yo, that was hilarious.
That was funny.
You start singing it, and then I looked, and he had devilish grin. I said, "This nigga ain't shit."
Yo, back in the day, man, I guess they was chopping that up, man. I had no idea, you know. You just brought that to my attention. It's like the ring comes off.
No, I never paid attention to
it. Devilish grin, like you're about to get into it. So I never even put those two together, you know, all these years later.
What's even crazy, but you know what's even crazy about that? Now, watching it again, you smile right after the motel sign.
Right.
They show the motel. You know what I'm saying? What they say? Take it to the motel, hotel they in, and next thing you know, like you see the motel sign, and you like this.
Yeah. Hey, let me tell you something, man. That OPP record is the gift that keeps on giving, right? I'm in a pretty committed relationship, but till this day, when you meet chicks and they want to flirt with you and come up, hey, Ben, I'm down with OPP. You know what I'm saying? I still say that to this day. I'm like, damn, girl. You ain't grown up yet.
Hey, I want to know who was Dave, yo. Dave was on the keys though. So who's Dave?
Yeah, Dave Bellocchio. So Dave had a local studio in Fairview. I forget what it was called, Perfect Pair. Yeah. So Dave was a engineer and he played, you know, the keys. So when we met him through the Sugar Hill people, because I guess he was working for them, but then he had his own studio. So as we left Sugar Hill as New Style, we started working with Dave. KG was always working with Dave. So when K would program all of his beats, Dave would lace up everything key-wise and all of the different sounds and give you, you know, the sounds you hear on OPP, Everything's Gonna Be All Right, all of those records, you know?
Speaking of Everything's Gonna Be All Right, yeah, speaking of Everything's Gonna Be All Right, I know y'all sampled Bob Marley. Were y'all Bob Marley fans? Is that how that came about, or is that just something that y'all just was like, y'all just collaborated and heard it like?
Well, yeah, you know, back in the day, reggae music always been, you know, paired up with
New York,
with hip hop. So we're always fans of that. And you know, even Tretch, his mom always listened to a lot of you know, a lot of reggae music and stuff like that. So just in digging in the crates, and you know, back in the day, KRS-One, he was heavy with a Caribbean influence in his music. So it's almost coming up back in the day, you always had to keep some kind of Caribbean flavor in your music. So that's where that influence comes from.
Speaking of KRS-One, I heard you gave him so much his flowers and stuff. Like he was a battle MC. Like nobody wanted no smoke with him in the middle of that era. You know what I mean?
Right. Nah, you know, KRS-One and the BDP crew, you know, that's definitely my favorite MC and the favorite crew back then, because again, he came from the streets and, you know, he was homeless and all of that stuff, but he's a street dude, him and his crew, you know, they thorough, but he's the teacher because he's going to educate people instead of him. And Chris is always big in stature. So instead of him going around bullying people, you know, or having that Suge Knight, you know, demeanor about him, he's going through with skills, and he's educating people about our history, about everything. And that's what I always admired about him. Plus, I knew that his crew was thorough. So if anybody had something to say, they would get busy on the street level. I was there the night when they snatched PM Dawn off stage.
Oh, wow.
Ridiculous, yo. That was ridiculous.
Yo. That was messed up. PM Dawn wasn't rap though, man.
Yeah.
They weren't, but you know,
they were young. They were young. If you're young, you're gonna get lumped in it. You get lumped in. Whatever you're doing. You was young at the time.
I listened to a PM Dawn song the other day, Die About You, whatever. Like, this is not rap, though. It was an R&B group, son.
But the thing about it was no category for them.
That part.
At the time, there was no category to put them in. So they, you know,
then they got snatched off the stage.
Everything was hot. They got put right in. Got snatched off the
stage. Them up, man.
Yo, Ben Rock, you missed it, dog. We went down to Charlie Mack's mixtape All Stars in Atlantic City, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Group be chilling at the stage after like 15 years, dog.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yo,
was it this one that just happened? He just had one a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yo, I rolled out, bro. People ain't know whether to clap or cry, boy. They didn't know whether to clap or cry. They was like,
wow.
Yo. Yeah,
that was a great event, man.
It was a great event, man. A lot of love, man.
Yeah, and funny enough, you know, last year they said all of the veteran shows were selling out, and then a lot of the new school rap, those shows were canceling and not selling well, you know? Yeah, definitely. They need that. As a matter of fact, one of my class of 88 mates, she sent me a link of two young brothers, young kids They were listening to Hip Hop Hooray for the first time, you know.
Hip Hop Hooray!
They were rocking to it. So they gave us a pass. It was like, oh, this is a vibe, yo. This is dope.
Yo, y'all were great at that though. I will say this, man. Y'all songs, y'all had that classic call and response though, man. That made y'all had those big records.
But
though,
yo, you know what's so crazy? They had the dopest, nicest gangster songs.
Yeah.
They were nice, nasty. Like you like, yeah, but you know,
I drew a picture of your mama, but you couldn't.
Don't cross them.
But let me ask you this though. I know we was talking about OPP. Did you know, like when y'all finished it and y'all put it out and y'all heard it yourselves before you y'all let the world hear it, did y'all know it was gonna be what it was?
We didn't know,
you know how you say.
Yeah, we definitely didn't know it would be that big of a record because actually on the B side we had a song called "Wickedest Man Alive."
Yo, I just talked about that joint. Yeah, that's your hard too.
So that was the B side. Everyone was playing the B side first, as opposed to OPP, and then Tommy Boy, Charles Dixon, and the pop department, they started servicing OPP to pop radio and to MTV, and that's really how it blew up. You know, once MTV did it and they spoofed you down with MTV and they had Tabitha Soren and Ed Lover and them, all of them on the remix the song and the video back then when MTV was just beginning to embrace hip hop. But yeah, we didn't know that the song would blow that big, but we knew the acronym OPP for what it stood for.
Crazy.
It would definitely be a conversation piece. Until this day, people still got to come up. Then I got to hear it for myself. What does it mean? What does it mean? The whole breakdown. So,
yo, let me tell you, man, I don't think there's another video jock that loved OPP more than Ed Lover.
Yeah. Ed Lover, that's my brother, yo.
That was Ed Lover joint.
Yeah. And you know, he showed us a lot of love. So we definitely got to give props to Ed Lover. You remember back then they were No Face. You know what I mean? He was in a rap.
Yeah, a rap called No Face.
Wow.
They got it in. But Ed always showed us love up there, man. He was our biggest cheerleader until this day, man. We got unconditional love for Ed Lover, yeah.
I just thought about it. Y'all was in Who's the Man?
Yeah, we were.
Yo, Ben, did you know that the role of Pop came down, Bishop came down to me and Pop?
Oh, word? Wow. I didn't know that.
We's the last two survivors, bro.
Wow, that's crazy.
Ain't that crazy?
But the role went to the best player. I got said hands down.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't my energy.
Right.
That's what Malcolm, he was like, your audition was incredible, but his energy and his whole thing, he had this thing with him, bro, that I didn't have. And I ain't mad at it. Because
let me ask you this, man. Let me ask you, my bad. Chill, you done? I mean to cut you off.
I'm kind of a star too.
You cut him off. I'm kind of a star too. I want A1B. It's like, nah.
See, Vin, this is what I'm talking about. You see the egos I gotta deal with on this show?
There you go.
I mean, Chill, if you wasn't done, go ahead. But I did want to ask you this though. Here comes the money, right?
Right.
Did you know how big it was? Like, in the sense of, did you know like Shane McMahon like came out to that on WWE?
I know. I remember they approached us about it. I remember they approached us about the song. And of course, everyone grew up on wrestling. So we knew it was a big look. And then, you know, they just ran with it. And hell yeah, that was one of those things, man. I think that, and for a while, we had the Soul Train theme, you know, for Don Cornelius. They called us, and we had the Soul Train theme for a minute. And for a minute when they were at the end of that joint for a few years, you know. So those two things, man, there's certain things when you're in this game, there's certain kind of cultural or corporate partnerships that happen that really anchors you into pop culture. And that was one of them, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, what's the craziest place to have
y'all ain't selling y'all publishing, right?
Oh, no.
Oh, y'all got massive. Nah, no way.
Yeah, Kay and I talk about this all the time, man. You got to realize, like, these people are going around taking everyone's publishing, but the world is still expanding. They say like India, you know, they don't even have maybe 20% saturation with cell phones. Then you have Africa, you know, these are two of the biggest continents on the planet. So they still have to push out, you know, cell phones and streaming services to that. So you think these people are spending all of this money just to not make that money back? If anything, if you hold on to your assets, your musical assets, things are going to grow, markets are going to expand exponentially, and then your royalty stream will expand exponentially. So that's why we're like, we will never give up this catalog. These are assets that we could pass down to our family, and we would encourage them to, you know, not give it up. Because for us, you know, even during the pandemic, man, we realized like, damn, we had our business in order. And then during the pandemic, while everybody was starving and looking to, you know, get out there and tour or whatever, we fell back on our royalties and was like, look, we're not pressed for anything. You know what I mean?
Top it up for that, yo. Hell yeah, let's go, man.
Let me tell you something. Ain't nothing like a blessing of 7 years of NCIS New Orleans, boy.
Exactly. It's always on.
Oh, that joint stay on, bro.
I tell you, it's just y'all do not understand, man. Y'all got me through it when I went to LA because, bro, I went to LA for 2 weeks, man, and I ended up staying for 10 years.
Wow.
Because I went. Shout out to you, Chill, man. Shout out to you, man.
No question. And I always kept hip hop in my heart because I'm like, this is the reason I got there because of Uptown Records. Then her brother put us a house party. So it was like, and the thing was crazy is Hollywood didn't know I was a rapper.
Right.
So everything I had to get, I auditioned with. Like, see Queen, DMX, all them, once they became hot and they were big, you know, projects gonna come at them. They gotta get them, they knock them off. Me, they didn't know who I was. They thought I was a comedian. So they was like, I was getting auditioned for everything, and I was, thank God I was landing it. But when I was doing Larry Cat for them 5 years, bro, I had a map in a frame of the subway of New York on my wall.
Wow.
And it's crazy because certain artists I played, y'all used to have a naughty handshake.
Yeah.
And I learned that. That's when I still do it to this day. It's a habit because that's how I was like, they had a naughty handshake they used to do. And I seen it one day. I was like, oh, okay. So I thought I seen Tretch and I was like, but it was things like that while I was in LA working because I was by myself.
Right.
So it was just like certain things and artists that when I got into film and television and I'm working every week and I'm working and memorizing lines and getting rewrites and I'm learning on the fly. You understand? Ain't no. So it was certain music that I would play and new music would come out and I didn't want to hear it.
Right. To be in that zone, right?
Yeah, I wanted to hear Rakim, KRS-One, Naughty by Nature, Queen Latifah, Salt and Pepper. It was just, and then like all of a sudden, it was like I woke up, and then if I wasn't doing that, I was going to the comedy clubs because that was the closest that, you know. And then only time I would see y'all, Soul Train.
Right. Yeah.
So after that, y'all, my friends was the CDs, the DVDs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, but it was
hey, Chill, that can be a lonely life, man. You know, doing those series, you know, even you know, we've been working with Donnie Wahlberg, you know, the past few years, and we'll go in his trailer and he's sitting around waiting. You got to study your lines and stuff. I'm like, that's a great gig, but boy, can that be lonely, right?
Hey, man, you talking about, now check it. Every season off, I did a movie. So I was going straight from the television studio on location.
Right.
And then I would come back, and when I did Sergeant Bilko with Steve Martin and Thin Line Between Love and Hate at the same time. Ooh, I was doing these two movies at the same time. Now check it. I started Sergeant Bilko I was rehearsing Sergeant Bilko while I was still shooting Larry Cat, right? Then I got to Larry Cat, Sergeant Bilko, and then I started Thin Line with Martin and Bobby. And then I went back to Larry Cat, and I wasn't finished with Thin Line.
Wow.
So I was still. It was a blessing, but bro, lonely.
That's a time. That's a time because if that was me, I'll be saying Larry Cat lines on Thin Line. I'll be mixing lines up, man.
I was rehearsing.
That's dope, though.
I was rehearsing. It was Veronica's Closet. No, Larry Cat. I was rehearsing in the daytime, and after rehearsal, I would go shoot at night. So I didn't even go home. I went back to the studio to go lay on the couch because I knew if I went home, I wasn't gonna wake up.
Yeah. So you working. So you was working.
But that's why acting, man. Acting is hard work. It's hard work.
Hard work, man.
And you know, being a musician, we get to move around and we set our own schedules and we have a lot of freedom. But it takes a certain discipline to be an actor. You know, on a movie set, on a series, and I had tastes of it. I was like, I can't be an actor. For one, I can't act. And for two, I'm just like, the discipline and patience it takes to bear through that shit. I'm like, woo.
The thing I thought about today, like I said, yo, you know something, man, is our perspective of how this industry we get in, we weave in and out of each other's lives.
Right.
You know, it ain't like, I'm gonna call Vin up and be like, y'all come in your crib today, we gonna sit down or we gonna no, but because our vacation, our religious retreats is all woven into what we do. And I thought about, I said, yo, you know, it ain't about saying, man, I'm not gonna focus on the last time I saw you. Right. I'm not gonna do that because it's not about the last time I saw him. It's about I'm seeing him right now. I'm celebrating seeing you right now.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And the thing, because I said, yo, I said, you know how many circus animals never hit the ring at the same time?
Right. True.
I said, yo, I said, and they be in the circus together for years.
Right.
Never eat together, never sleep together, and they never perform together. But they in the same, when that train wagon pull off, they in the same stuff. So I'm like, yo, I'm not going to focus on when I ain't see my man. I'm focused on right now, seeing him today. Because I know I'm going to see you again.
Exactly.
But the fact that, yo, I'm just happy that you're here and we here to give you your flowers now.
Yeah.
Good looking, bro. Appreciate it.
You know, and giving me the moments of like, dog, when you're not realizing when you're doing things for people. Because, you know, I'm your friend, but I was also a fan of your company.
Right.
And I spoke to Ron about that one time. I was like, yo, bro, I said, when people buy your records, they invest in your business.
Right. Yeah.
The record or the CD is a certificate of ownership. Right. Now, do they get anything monetarily? No, but they get something emotionally. Exactly. And in some cases, spiritually.
Exactly.
And I'm like, yo, that's the real, man. It's like, yo, that's a certificate of ownership. I'm a partner. I'm you know, they do that with stocks.
Right. And but that's what I always say, you know, even for guys like us whose groups who are in a group and or, you know, an artist that or other groups that break up or for whatever reason, I'm like, you know what, at a certain point, you got to realize that although Naughty by Nature is our brand, it's not just our brand. It's all of our fans, our family, our friends, our supporters who helped us get through all of these years and all of this time. So in those tough times, you got to realize, yo, it's not about me and my ego or you did this and I did that. It's like we're here to serve a broader purpose because a lot of people have emotional ties and emotional investments in us. You know what I mean? A lot of people come up every day and they do that, whether it's television or film or music. It's like, yo, man, you helped me get through my college years with your music and all of that. So it's really a part of their lives. That's why when people pass on or when bands dismantle, you really leave the fans hanging. And that's a part that can be considered selfish. It's like you don't care about anyone else. You just self-serving.
I never forget when I came to that concert y'all did in Atlanta. And I came down backstage and you saw me and everybody else saw me too. And everybody was happy to see me. But when they saw you take this sweater off your back and put it on, like I'm like, yo, dog, I got to get one of them. You was like, nah, you getting this one.
Right.
Everybody like, yo, bro, that's fire. You know what I mean? But again, that did something for me. You know what I mean? It's like that's they're saying, bro, you still here and you still you and you still part of us. You still ours.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Showing the love in the moment. You know what I mean?
Real talk.
That's what I be telling a lot of these. That's what I be telling a lot of these women, man. Like, just focus on now. Don't worry about.
So let's get back to you. Let's get back.
Hold up, man. Quick sidebar, man. So let me tell you what it is, man. The dude up top, that's my cousin, bro. That's my cousin, man. So I be at them all the time because they be getting on my cousin. I be like, yo, man, y'all got to chill with this, man. I don't know y'all like that to be getting on my fam like this, bro. I hung out with them one day, and I realize now why they get them. Now I realize why I don't say nothing. I be just, because he be saying crazy stuff like, yo, dog, man, we at dinner. I'm telling this story every time. We in Atlantic City after the concert, we having dinner. The dude came, he's like, yo, man, y'all want some water? First he bought the pitcher. I was like, yo, I don't want that. I said, yo, you got bottled water? He said, yeah. He said, all right, what y'all want? You know it's 2 bottles, man. It's sparkling and then it's flat.
Right.
The dude said, you want sparkling or flat? My cousin said, just give me some regular water.
Straight face and all.
Straight face. He was like, nah, man, just give me some regular water.
Hey, chill.
What?
What did he do? They chill. What did he do with the silverware?
So now we got silverware because they done turned out the bread. So we got the butter knife, we got the knife. So you take your knife, get your butter, spread it on your bread, you eat it. All right. So by the time you finish with that, they're gonna come with some new silverware because it's time to get rocking.
Right.
He take his knife and he gonna roll it back nicely and set it to the side. So he can use it later.
Right.
Because they ain't got no more silverware in the store. We're in Martin's, of all places.
Wow, at Martin's Steakhouse, right?
Steakhouse.
Wow.
He's saving the silverware.
That's all right. You gotta. He's being cultured. You're getting him cultured, man. He's getting.
The man said sparkling or flat. He said just give me regular.
He said, nah, I want regular.
Nah, I want regular. I started.
He's like, that's what I brought out in the first place, the regular.
I guess so. Out the tap. He brought it out the tap. He wanted his out the tap. And we was rolled. That's why I said ever since. You see, he started, because that's what the ladies say about me, all this. Now, this all left field. Left field.
Hey, everyone has their strong points, Phil. He looks like he's a sports fan, so he's more cultured in the sports world. You know?
I give that. I give him that. But
ain't nobody trying to hear that. But
hey, yo, do y'all realize we are an hour and a half in?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Boy. Wow,
bro.
Hey, wow. Hey, Ben, can I ask you?
Y'all wasn't expecting this conversation, Ben.
Nah.
Hey, it started off. I didn't know where we was gonna go with it. It started off deep. I didn't expect that though. But man, it's been fruitful, man. Hey, a lot of gems though, man.
Yeah.
A lot of gems, bro.
I just want to ask 2 more questions real quick. I can bunch them together. I know we've been on here an hour and a half, but first and foremost, how did it feel to be a Grammy Award winner for the best rap album, and then also 7 studio albums that you guys got? 7 studio albums as a group.
Y'all in the rock and roll?
Really see that.
Not yet.
Okay, you already said, right?
You already said not yet.
Not yet.
But like you said, 7 studio albums as well, and as a group, which you don't get to see no more, right? So how does it feel to have that type of longevity in the game as well? So those 2 questions, I really like.
Yeah, well, the Grammy thing, that was definitely big for us because, when you're in any business or any career, there's always some pinnacle moment, like the Super Bowl or the Stanley Cup. So for musicians, the Grammy Award is like winning the Super Bowl. So for us to accomplish the highest, accolade or award in the music game, that was dope. And then for the albums, I think, 7 studio albums in 30-something years. I always think of Jay-Z on The Takeover, where he talked about the averages with Nas. We have a very bad average compared to what we should have. You know what I mean? So I definitely think that, since the 90s, we should have had a lot more music and a lot more catalog under our belt. So that's one of my regrets in the game. But I think we were impactful enough where we are considered one of the elite brands and groups in the game. So definitely, grateful for that. Definitely.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Y'all made us because Black entertainment for us growing up with, seeing you guys coming on these Black shows that they had when we were growing up, you know what I'm saying? From Will Smith to Martin, you know what I mean? Then you got Hillman College, things like that. And then they incorporated hip hop, Living Single, just incorporating hip hop and everything like that. In Living Color when we was growing up, and we got to watch this stuff, and we got to watch and see y'all on that New York Undercover. These shows kind of built us.
Yeah, we 80s babies, man. So we was raised in the 90s. So we saw all that.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out why was I like 10 years old listening to OPP and listening to Snoop Dogg in the same year? I'm trying to figure out how.
We had the box, man.
Man. I knew about Doggy Style, I know about OPP. I don't know why at 10 years old, but I knew.
That's crazy, man.
Hey, but I want to say real quick, so what's the craziest place that hip hop is taking you as far as like performing wise? Like you look back like, I'm in bumblefuck somewhere in China or somewhere. Like, why the hell am I here because of hip hop? Yeah,
I would say Nigeria. Early 2000s, we went to Nigeria, Africa. And when we got out there, they said that our concert was the first concert they've had since like 1976, since they had their civil war. So we went out there like early 2000s. We opened up the market again. Boy, oh boy, was I afraid. I was afraid for my freaking life out there, because it was like lawlessness out there. We went and checked in at the U.S. Embassy out there and just let them know we were in town. But man, there was a little guy. He's like 110 pounds. We called him Ramsey because he looked like an old Flavor Unit member. He had this yellow blazer on and he wore it the whole trip. You know what I'm saying? But he was in charge of these big old steroid dudes called Voltron, and they were strapped up. And that's how we got around the whole damn city. I remember landing in Nigeria, getting off the plane. They greeted us as soon as we got off. They were like, welcome to Nigeria. In America, you have over 300 million Americans. That's included your whole population, 300 million Americans. Here in Nigeria, 300 million Nigerians. So that gave me the scope and the scale of how big Africa was. We were just in one country. And then we loaded up in the cars. Voltron is running in front of us from the airport, getting to the hotel. At this time, there were no traffic lanes, just a bunch of people. And I remember it got really congested. They're like, move, punching people. Imagine you just got your coffee driving to work. You're in morning rush hour. All of a sudden, a fist come out of nowhere. Move. They punching people in rush hour traffic so our entourage could get through. And that's how we got to the hotel, man. And then I remember we didn't trust their local airlines, because we know it was crazy out there. So we're not flying Nigerian Airlines, Yeah. Where we're going. We opted to drive to all the spots we were in. Man, oh man, I remember in the middle of the night, we're driving, and then we caught a flat.
Oh.
We caught a flat. So Voltron, this was like Flintstone shit, They pick up the car, and then they're changing the tire, and we go. As they're changing the tire, I swear it was like the cartoons. There's no street lights, no nothing. You know how you see the whites of somebody's eyes on the side of the road? Voltron, look, Bandit. He goes in the dark, pulls out this kid, slapping the shit out of him. Bandit,
Yo.
Bandit, you're trying to rob us. And he's like, no. Yo, that was crazy. And then I'll end with this one. Then we're driving, break of dawn. The sun is just about to come up.
Yo.
And you see the cars turning around, flashing the lights. So our entourage had to pull over. They're like, what's going on? Bandits up ahead. Stay right there. We're sitting here, Ramsey, the little guy, and a car full of Voltron go up the road. All you hear is pop, 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 pop. They come back. Okay, bandits clear. I'm like, yo, this is like, where the fuck am I, yo? Where am I, yo?
Yeah, they just slaughtered some people.
And then they cleared the road. They're like, the bandits jam up, do a roadblock, and then they rob everybody. That's what they do, yo.
Oh, shit.
I'm like, yo. And then by the time I left, and this was early 2000, like 2000, 2001. When I got back home, I was like, listen, let me tell you something. The first motherfucker I hear say I'm a real nigga, I'm punching him right in the mouth. I ain't seen no real nigga shit until you've been to Nigeria, yo. Them motherfuckers out there was different, yo. Different. I'll give you this one too. So chill, you know how I do. Like,
of course,
I can see somebody and then I'll just peel right off, right? And give it to him. We're on one of the shows and we're on stage. So I had this New York Knicks basketball set, but it was customized. It was a Naughty by Nature, basketball set. It was the basketball top and the pants. So we rocking out there. And out there was really no girls out there. They wouldn't let them out or whatever. It's like 30,000 males out there. So there was one kid that was on stage watching the show with us. So during the show, I take my joint off, and I had on shorts under the pants. Took my pants off. I gave the kid the Nike set. I mean the Knicks set, the basketball set.
Yeah.
They were like, Vin, ain't no way this guy's getting out of this venue with that joint. Damn. We're doing the show, and I see them literally cutting the whole suit up and giving everybody a piece of it. It's like, yo, nigga, you're not getting this whole thing yourself, man. We got to bust this down, yo. And that's what they did. They cut the whole shit up, yo. Then I remember we in the lobby. We're about to leave, right? So they do this shit out there. This is kind extortion. Yes, you are in my country. We are happy to have you. Motherfucker pull out a handkerchief. This is greetings from Nigeria. Here you go. Now, what do you have for me?
Oh, wow.
Niggas wanted to go in our tour bags, right? So I remember I had a pair of black Chucker Timbs, right? And I'm like, look, I got these up for grabs, yo. Y'all could. They were in the lobby, yo. It was like 40 motherfuckers in the lobby. I swear to God, everybody tried on them boots until they found the one who fitted. And everyone's looking like this. You know how the wheel is spinning, the bar thing, waiting to hit on jackpot? It was like everybody was trying on the shoe. They said, nope, don't fit you, don't fit you. Until they got the right one, yo. And I still think once they found out the 5 motherfuckers that could fit the shoes, you got them Monday, I got them Tuesday. Yeah, yo. For real, man. But now it's good to see, we opened up the Nigerian market. That was in 2000. Then everything got, better. And then Jay-Z, Beyonce, 50 Cent, Busta Rhymes, everybody came through Africa then in Nigeria. And now you see Afrobeats is crazy right now. But
hey, yo, I didn't know y'all work with Burna Boy, man.
Yeah, that was dope. On his Grammy Award winning album too. Yeah. So Burna,
that's super dope.
Yeah, his people reached out and he wanted us on the album. So I can imagine Diddy executive produced the album and they were on Atlantic Records. Really what we tried to do is, because we have a Afrobeats artist we're working with, me and KG under our new Slugger project. We tried to trade off the record. We was like, well, look, because they wanted to do the record and they wanted to pay us. We were like, look, we don't want to get paid. We'll either trade off and Burner does a record with Naughty by Nature, or we could trade off and we got a young Afrobeats artist that we could do that with. They were like, nah, we're not having that. You know what I mean? And then I remember the Breakfast Club was like, Burner, where'd you get Naughty by Nature from? Why are they on your album? He was like, listen, when I was 3 years old, the first song that I learned was Hip Hop Hooray. So Naughty by Nature, they were always my favorite group. So when he was in position, he called and we made it happen. You know,
man.
Hey,
yeah,
man,
but it's
look.
crazy to see where Afrobeats in Nigeria is. But let me tell you something. That was the first time I was afraid of my life. Where the fuck am I? And why am I out here, yo?
Yo, that was funny.
That was great stories right there, man.
Thank you, man.
Ben,
hey,
you
look,
got
man. Hey,
how many books you got, Ben?
Right.
How many, you know how many books you got, bro?
I know, right? I know.
You just wrote about 3 today.
We definitely need that biopic, man. We definitely do.
That'll be super dope.
Yeah, we'll get it together, man. I mean, and I know it's positive energy for sure, but we definitely are not seeing eye to eye with Tretch right now. I don't know what it is, but I can say that Kay and I are ready to rock any day now. And really, we haven't toured since the pandemic. So, hopefully it'll change. And we've been running all the ways from 91 up until the pandemic. And even Shakim, our former manager, is like, look, y'all should take a break, let the market miss you for about 18 months, and then come back and, kind of reset. So we understood that, but now we're going on 5 years, and Sha didn't mean that damn long. But I think it'll, God willing, things will get better. But it gives us a break. It gives us a chance to reset. And with all of the show demands for us, our numbers have doubled since the pandemic. So eventually one day we'll get back out there and get busy again. But KG and I, in the meantime, we have a project called Illtown Sluggers. If y'all look that up, you see it's me and Kay, and then we have a Bear DJ. So our boy, he was into all the EDM shit. He put us up on it a while ago. And then just so happens, I was working on Naughty merch. I came up with this Russian guy, and we came up with this Bear character who had a Naughty by Nature shirt on. So I was like, Naughty ain't really in the right space now. We can't use that as a Naughty mascot. And lo and behold, we named the Bear Slugger. Then I told Kay, bet we could be a group, Illtown Sluggers. And then our guy who was into the EDM shit, we could do DJ mashup shit. And then we could have a record label and artist management thing. So that's what we're doing now. And we've been pushing out singles on a bunch of indie artists, but a lot of
we need some Illtown Slugger stuff to wear on the show.
Oh yeah, I got some fly.
Illtown Slugger.
I'll be at KG 100 miles an hour. Like
I got fly shit for that too.
Okay, you told KG I've been hitting them too, because I've been like, send me some stuff.
Right.
I've been begging for it. I've been hitting them 100 miles. I still got my brown coffee sweatshirt.
Yeah, Coffee Brown. As a matter of fact, we're managing them, and we just reunited them. The guy Fonz, he's not in the group, but one of the artists we work with on the Slugger side, Ryan Lane, we put him and Vernell together, and now, they about to go out. Actually, and then KG brother manages Jaheim. Of course, KG produced Ja, but K's older brother, Pook, manages Jaheim. So we'll get Coffee Brown.
I'm going to send you a picture of my Coffee Brown sweatshirt so you can show KG. I rep, bro. Because Cat said, like, yo, what you know about Coffee Brown? I'm like, yo, bro, because you see, all my stuff is, my stuff is kept, bro.
That's crispy. That's crispy,
bro. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. But yo, dog, this been yo. Hey. We got enough for a 2-parter here, bro. We can't waste all this on one night, bro. We can't.
Before we get up out of here, man, we got a thing called the Victory Lap, man. So the Victory Lap, man, we wrap it up and just like a final thoughts thing. So since you're the special guest, we gotta give you the Victory Lap, man.
Hold up, I got one question. I ain't been asking many questions. I'm asking one. You got to give me your top 5, but you got to include a girl.
Okay.
Got it. That's my new thing now, because everybody is always me. You got it. Give me top 5, but one has to be a girl. And it could be Queen.
Okay, no, I'm gonna give it top 5. I'll start with Lauryn Hill, and then I'll go KRS-One. I love Hove, man. Hove is a smart guy, and and then Drake. I love Drake because he's a smart musician. He's not going to let everybody pigeonhole him. And now you got people continuously taking shots at him, but that's because you're in a box and you can't go outside that box. And even if you tried to go outside that box, you wouldn't be as successful as Drake. You know what I'm saying? So that is what it is. And then I got to give one of the West Coast guys props, which would be a Snoop or a Corrupt or that whole Death Row.
No, hold on, please. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I knew where it was about to go. Kenny, you don't know Corrupt. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Hey, Vin, he met, hold on. We gotta get it straight. Vin, he met Corrupt walking past the bathroom in Vegas, so now he think you know Corrupt. He said it was up to one time.
They hate, man.
And now he knows Corrupt now. That's the homie.
And the crazy thing, man, I knew you was going when you said West Coast. I watched his face light up because I was like, I hope he don't say Corrupt. I just hope he don't say Corrupt.
If I had to shake it all up, I would have to give it to Ice Cube because he was pivotal in that groundbreaking movement with NWA. Then he was able to come out of that and work with Chuck D and them, the Bomb Squad, and those incredible records. So that's definitely deserves his
America's Most Wanted. That
record. He's an honorary member of the West Coast, man. He loves all West
Coast. He loves all West Coast.
That's a hard 5, bro. You got it. That's nice.
Nah, that's dope, yo.
They dope out there.
Yo. So finish getting them the victory lap, man.
Yeah.
So just the final thoughts, man. Just give them some gems, some Jews, man, to move on, man.
Well, final thoughts on my victory lap is, man, hip hop parade to the whole hip hop culture has been 50 plus years, man. And like we all said, this was America's worst nightmare, yo. From all of the ruins and all the redlining, and you banked on us failing. Now, by the grace of God, we have this culture which is so diverse. And now not only just through, the entertainment industry are we shining, but in every professional, the medical field, the legal field, the political field, it's like now the score is evening up and we're on par. So with the good, bad, and ugly in hip hop, you got to give hip hop its props because, man, it's saving lives and it's changing the whole global narrative. You know what I mean?
Thank you, bro.
Hey, man, with that said, man, it's the Pitt Stop Podcast. We out.
Yo.